Hi everyone, how you all doing? I'm sure you gained a lot from, sorry I didn't catch your names, wonderful talk, Justice on the networking. So I'm here kind of expanding on Bishop's point. It's all about money management, but I want to take it one step further. So he spends a lot of time on a mindset because I don't know if you're all familiar with a guy called Dave Ramsey. He's written a Total Money Makeover. Yeah, he says it's 80% mindset and 20% financial literacy. So the key here is most of you probably already have the common sense literacy in your mind. It's a matter of literally putting it into practice. So I myself have never had an issue with money. I've always had thousands of pounds, even when being on a low income. And I thought everybody else was like me. Obviously not, because there's people trying to get out of debt. So today I want to just share with you the 3 simple principles that you can follow that I guarantee you will enable you to save thousands of pounds, even on a low income. So remember, the key here though is money management. There's only so much money management can do. The key thing here is to beat inflation. So the savings rates are really, really low. So unless you manage your money and then accelerate it through investing, you will never be financially free. So I'm going to share with you first things first. It would have helped if I had a little board, but I'll just get you all to write down the notes. So this is a savings model taken from a book called The Automatic Millionaire by David Back. So essentially, when you get paid, you have 100% income, right? So literally, in this model, so your income is 70%. So 10% should be going to savings and investments. In my case, it's 20%. So I'll save 10% and invest 10%. 10% is a fund, because you've got to have fun in life. It can't be just all savings, or else life will get quite dry. And then, most successful people, for those who work in corporations, they're always charity fundraising. Sometimes I find it a bit annoying, but I find when you sow, you reap. So you either give 10% to good causes or to tithe, and then you live off 70%. So the key thing here is, until you can learn how to live on less than you earn, you will never be financially free, because it takes money to make money. 0 plus 0 does not equal 10, it equals 0. And for some people, unfortunately, they're minus because they're spending beyond their means. So that's the main savings model. You can tweak that model, but the key thing here is literally live off less than you earn. So the model I've given you is a structure. You can retweak the figures according to your own personal preference. So for example, if you've got there, your priority wouldn't really be saving as much, just because the interest rate on the debt is so high. It's key to try and pay down that debt as much as possible. So these are literally 3 principles that allowed me to save over £12,000, at the time not having earned more than £18,000, and even saving money as a single parent as well. So literally, there's no excuses. It's not about how much you earn, it's how much you keep. There's broke people on 100k. If they lost their job, their finances would probably be wiped out. Why? Because they don't have income producing assets. So the key thing here is, most people look like they're wealthy, but they're walking around with a bunch of liabilities. But when you stop buying liabilities and start buying assets, that's when you will be able to be financially free. Sorry if I'm talking too far. I don't have the time to go into it, which is why I'm doing a webinar next week and even workshops, because it takes time to change our mindset and acquire all this information. So principle number 1, Bishop already covered it. Live off less than you earn. How do you do that? You budget. And I've given you that savings model. That gives you structure to your finances and range your finances in. Number 2, pay yourself first at least 10%. Who's heard of the book, The Richest Man in Babylon by George Clason? Yeah, so literally in that book, what it's telling you to do is save 10% and then invest it in income producing assets. And then number 3 is build a freedom fund. Some people call this emergency fund, but I say, if you plan for an emergency, what are you going to get? Emergency. So the key is to plan for freedom. This fund here, when I was 25, I got a 1-bedroom flat, and I was practically a single parent mother when my son was born. And there was this flat, and it had no furniture but a fridge freezer. And I needed about £2,500 just to put furniture in the property. And I was only 25. But because I had thousands of pounds in the bank, it didn't faze me at all. I could just go to IKEA and buy whatever I wanted. But for some people, they'd probably be right into charities or taking out money on a credit card. So the beautiful thing about this Freedom Fund is it gives you peace of mind and it stops you going into debt, and it's helped me many, many times. So the key thing here today is to get building that Freedom Fund. And how do you do it? Pay yourself first at least 10%. How do you do that? You live off less than you earn. So all of these points interlink with one another. So they're literally the key 3 points that will allow you to save thousands of pounds no matter your income. But the key thing here is you have to watch out for inflation. Does everybody know what that is?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can somebody volunteer an answer? Okay, so essentially it's literally the cost of living is always going up. So if you don't figure out a way to get your money working above the rate of inflation, which is 2%, your money's never working for you. It's costing you more to live each month. So the key thing is to beat inflation. Does the bank help you to beat inflation? No. Because the interest rate is set, right? Yeah, so literally you need to figure out ways to beat inflation, but most financial products don't allow you to do that, which is why I advocate investing so strongly. So for me, my investments fluctuate between 4 and 10%. And this is just stocks and shares and index funds. It's nothing complex. An average wealth manager should be able to help you achieve that. But I believe you should slightly understand what you're doing so that you can, encourage other people to do it, which is why I do workshops, part 1 money management, and the financial advisor does part 2 how to invest. So he literally gives you the literacy and shows you, how to protect your investment, how to diversify your investment, how to protect your investment. And if you're doing that from, say, the age of 20 to 60, there's no reason as to why. You would probably reach financial freedom in your 50s, providing you're putting enough money consistently on a regular basis. So for those of you that would like this information, but obviously I've gone a bit fast today because I've only had 10 minutes, there's a webinar that I'm doing alongside the financial advisor I work with. So that's taking place next week, Thursday. And it's on Eventbrite. It's under Saver to Investor. So that is literally there. You will be taught the financial literacy that they should have taught you in school but didn't. And I believe that's partly because the system is dependent upon you to work until retirement. And retirement is going up. This year it's going to be 66. By the time I'm in my 60s, it will probably be 70. So if you guys all at the thought of, hobbling into work in your late 60s or 70s, that's fine. But for some people that like to acquire financial freedom earlier, I know it's definitely feasible, but the key is the quicker you start, the better. And I'll explain to you why in the webinar. It's because of compound interest and time. So there's basic financial literacy that you need to understand on this journey. But the most important thing is this: if you don't know your why, then you're not really going to take action. You'll probably hear all this information and be like, okay, yeah, whatever. But for me, my why is I want to be able to live in a flat in the suburbs and not a house. I want to live in a house and not a flat. I want to be able to send my son to a private school by the time he gets to 11 because I don't like inner city London. And I don't want to have to work until retirement age. I want the option of early retirement, and I just want to be comfortable. So if you can get a why that's strong, that resonates with you, that is your why, not your husband's why, not your friend's why, but your why. And you can, you're passionate about that why, you're likely to implement everything that you've learned today. But if you don't have a why, it's likely that you're going to feel good maybe for a day or two about this, and then you're just going to go back to your old ways. So yeah, if you can get a strong enough why, your mindset will change and you will get that breakthrough, that financial breakthrough that you're looking for. So if you are all available next week, Thursday, between 7 and 9, the webinar is taking place. And the financial empowerment workshops, one is on Wednesday, the 5th of February, and there's another one on Wednesday, the 12th of February. And it's not just financial literacy. The goal is to bring money out into the open and have discussions around money. Because I find in a black community especially, they consume a lot, but the debt levels are hard, and it just doesn't make me feel that way. And I know you can live decent on a low income because this blazer was from a charity shop and it cost £8.
I feel you, man. I was trying to tell them that earlier, but I was being nice. So
Exactly. think so.
little
And
t-shirt.
everyone's we're suffering